Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly. Welcome to the game room. I'm so happy to have you here. This is part 3 of my PlayStation 4 collection. So if you haven't already, go back and watch parts 2 and part 1. We have over $15,000 worth of games here according to GameEye, about 412 games or so. We're in the middle of the S's all the way to the end. This is the last video. If you've seen the other two, thank you so much. If you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's the best way to help the channel, and let's just dive right in. Well, we left off in the middle of the Senran Kagura series. Here's the next game. It's Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. This is like a water gun third-person shooter, arena shooter. It's pretty fun. These games look really scandalous because it's all about cute girls getting wet, but it's pretty tame. It's like if you've ever seen a girl in a bikini, then you've seen what this game has to offer, so it's not that bad. But it still isn't something you want to play with your kids around, if you get what I'm going for. I got all the achievements on this on the Xbox 360, and it was digital only, and when Limited Run Games, for their 17th game, announced they're putting out a physical copy of this, I was thrilled. And it's Shadow Complex. It's a 2.5D Metroidvania, and it's unbelievably good. Sadly, this is one of the very few games that is reported not to work on the PS5, so you have to play it on the PS4 or on the Xbox 360. I haven't opened this version up. I spent plenty of time with the Xbox 360 version. I just wanted to have this to put on the shelf. This, I can't remember if you saw the previous video. I think this is the third game in the Tomb Raider reboot series, but this is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It was really good. Crystal Dynamics kind of knocked it out of the park with these, and I enjoyed this one a lot, although I still think the first one was my favorite. This one I have not played yet. It's supposed to be wacky and insane, and it's a first-person shooter that's way over the top. It's Shadow Warrior. Used to see this all the time at GameStop, like in the bargain bin, but haven't seen it in a while. It might be getting harder to find. We're in Way Forward Bonanza time. This is Shantae Half Genie Hero. I have the, the collector's edition or whatever. This was sold at GameStop. You could pick this one up. It wasn't too hard, and it wasn't too expensive when it came out. Which isn't the case for these other ones. This is limited run game number 24, Shantae Risky's Revenge. I have played this one, I believe. I think this is the second game in the series. It's hard to remember. And I thought this was really good. This is number 25. This is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. If I recall correctly, this is the third game in the series. Haven't played this one yet. Still sealed. Probably stay that way now. This game's getting pricey. And this one's pricey as well. This is number 343. Shantae and the Seven Sirens. Maybe this one isn't pricey. I don't know. Whatever the case. This is the fourth game in the series. I can't keep them in order. I've got it on a spreadsheet somewhere. But still sealed. Anyway, I love the Shantae games. They're great platformers. And Way Forward really knows how to do the game right. Played this game on the Dreamcast back in the day. I remember seeing it for sale at a Babbage's and the graphics blew my mind. Unfortunately, I never beat it on the Dreamcast, but I'm going to beat it here. Never played the second game. This is a compilation of the two. And this is Shenmue 1 and 2. Happy to have this one. I can't believe they released this, but mine's still sealed. I'll get to it one day, I promise. And to go along with that, Shenmue 3, I had to pick it up just in case. This is one of the first shmups released from PlayAsia that they publish. It's done by East Asia Soft. It's really cool. It's got like a Japanese horror kind of aesthetic to it, and that's Shikando, which looks really cool. I think there's some flaws with the gameplay with this. Like there's some bullet patterns you just can't dodge. You're like guaranteed to die. Anyway, this is kind of a limited release. Mine's number 1209. But excited to have this one. Mine's still sealed. I'll probably end up having to buy the digital copy to keep this one sealed. Don't want to waste that money by breaking the plastic off of it. Yacht Club Games put this out. It was one of those first like retro revival games that was so big. It's fantastic. It's Shovel Knight. I joined Twitter just to harass Yacht Club Games, and for like an entire year, every week I would message them and tell them to release this physically, and if they did, I would buy every version of the game, and I stuck to my word. And the day it released, there was the PlayStation 4 version, the Wii U version, and the 3DS version. I got all three of them. They didn't come out with an Xbox version, and they just came out with the Switch version, which was the treasure trove that has all the DLC on it. I think you have access to the DLC for free if you just own this, but I wanted it on the cart, so this doesn't have it on the cart. But fantastic 2D platformer, one of the best I've ever played. I think this is a fantastic game. This is not a fantastic game. It's a pretty looking shoot 'em up, but it is not balanced, and it is slow, and there's tons of dialogue, and it's got some weird time play mechanics. Sine Mora, I don't know if it's like sine cosine tangent, or Sina Mora. Sine and Mora seems like Latin, so maybe Sina Mora. I'm not sure. Not great. It's a shmup. I love shmups, but this one's, like a pretty mediocre. More and more shoot 'em ups. This one's called Sister Royale. Help! I'm being harassed by 5 sisters or something like that, and it sucks. Like, that's in the title, and it sucks. I'm being harassed by 5 sisters, and it sucks, or whatever. This is it. I think Limited Run Games released this, but I already owned the Japanese version of it, which for most shoot 'em ups, you don't really need to know the English. Most of the menus are in English anyway. So here it is. I haven't played it yet. It looks pretty campy and fun, and I buy every physical shmup that comes out that I know about. Speaking of which, here's a Euro shmup, and it's the best Euro shmup I've ever played, and that's Skyforce Anniversary. This was Limited Run Game number 116. This has some like RPG elements, so as you complete challenges in the levels, you make your ship a little bit better, and it makes the game a little bit easier. But this is a lot of fun. I got the Platinum Trophy on this one, and I liked it a lot. Like I said, it's the best Euro shmup I've ever played. Metal Jesus Rocks recommended this, and I had to get it, but I ended up really not liking it very much, and that's Slain Back from Hell. I imported this, although I think they later released this in the United States. It's like a difficult sort of combat-based side-scrolling hack and slash game, but it just, I thought the gameplay was really clunky, and I didn't like it. And it has a metal soundtrack, and I like metal a lot, and it's done by the guy from, I think, Celtic Frost, so it's pretty heavy, but overall, I just thought the game was not very good. This game, on the other hand, is the best deal on the PlayStation 4. If you can find this, you got to get it. It's a fantastic card-building roguelite. It's a 10 out of 10 game, and I love it. I put a couple hundred hours into it. My wife's addicted to it right now, and that's Slay the Spire. I think this was $7 new from GameStop, and that's the best deal I've ever gotten on a game. $7 for a game I got hundreds of hours of fun out of, and still love to this day. If my wife gets stuck she plays it on her cell phone. If she gets stuck, she's like, will you help me? And I'm happy to dive in. Half the time I end up losing the run for her, but it's a great game. So much fun. If you've not played this, check out Slay the Spire. It is fantastic. This came out on the Xbox 360, but shortly after the PS4 launched, they released like the definitive edition on it, which they tend to do. And I thought it was pretty good. I got the Platinum Trophy in this, and it's kind of a more mild Grand Theft Auto sort of game, and that's Sleeping Dogs. And it takes place in Hong Kong, I think. Pretty fun game. I really enjoyed it. You play as an undercover cop. This one I don't know much about. I bought it because it looked like it was going to be kind of fun and quirky, but it's Slime Rancher. I don't know. I like pre-ordered this from like I Am 8-Bit or something, paid $50 for it, and then like it was in GameStops everywhere for $20. So I think I overpaid for it. Mine's still sealed. But I'll get to it one day. I don't know. It says a wiggly adventure. Sometimes I get in the mood for stuff like this, and then the zaniness of it just doesn't stick with me. Like Katamari I love, and then I play other games like Katamari. I'm like, this is dumb. So I don't know if this is going to be I love it or it's a dumb sort of game. This was made by Insomniac Games for GameStop, and it was only sold retail in GameStop. And it's a Metroidvania submarine game, and I thought it was pretty decent, honestly. I wish they had kept going with it. But it's Song of the Deep. Pretty good little game here. I really liked it. Game Trust made this, and I really, like I said, I wish GameStop had kept going, like publishing games, like obscure stuff. But I think there was maybe a couple after this, and they were like games nobody wanted. People wanted this one. I don't even know why I have this. I think the series is fine, but like this doesn't feel like something I would pick up. I'm not a huge fighting games fan. I like fighting games, so I'm not very good at them. I don't have enough time to get good at them. But maybe I just picked this up because it was super cheap somewhere. I don't know, but Soul Calibur 6, I'm reading it backwards. It looks like 6. Anyway, Soul Calibur games are fun. I like the character creation a lot. This has Geralt from Witcher in it, so maybe that's why I picked it up. I'm not sure. South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Man, rolls right off the tongue. I platinumed The Stick of Truth on the PS3 and enjoyed it a lot. I know this is going to be really good and funny. I haven't gotten around to it yet. It's in the backlog, but like I said, everything's played randomly, so I never know when I'm going to get to it. I really like the Warhammer 40k universe. I think it's one of the coolest universes out there. I have played some Warhammer 40k games. Like, I've played the tabletop RPG here and there and dabbled in it, and it's fun. And Space Hulk and stuff, but the video games have been like pretty mediocre as far as I know. I don't know if this one's any good. Space Hulk Ascension. Is this just like a video game version of Space Hulk? If so, that's cool. I like Space Hulk. It's a fun board game. If you get somebody to play it with you, you have like, you know, a 30 by 30 square foot like coffee table to play it on. Classic roguelite. Everybody loves it. It's limited run game number 220. It's Spelunky. I played it a little bit with my friend. He was really good at it, and it was my first time to play it, and I was totally terrible, but I want to get good at this one day. Recently picked this up for clearance at GameStop. A guy I work with says this game's phenomenal and unbelievable. I had to play it, so I picked it up. It's Spiritfarer. Looks kind of like a mixture of Terraria and like a story. So take a story and mix it with Terraria and you get this game, I guess. I don't know. Tell me, guys, do you like this one? This is limited run game number 152. I don't know why I picked this up. It doesn't seem like something I would have gone for, but maybe I needed to, I don't know. I guess I had some money burning a hole in my pocket, so I grabbed it. Splasher. It looks okay. It looks like it's a kind of a run and gun with ink or something like that. Who knows? This is the 46th strictly limited release. It's a combination of Star Hunter DX and Space Moth, which are two shoot 'em ups that are supposed to be really pretty decent. I love the art style on these. I'll show you the back. There you go. You see, really colorful and cool. Really want to play these, and I really can't wait to do it, to tell you the truth. This is a good game. I'm not saying this is a bad game, but this game taught me that I hate farming sims. And that's Stardew Valley. I know it's great. My daughter and I played some of it together. I played it by myself for many hours. But as I'm sitting there like watering my plants, all I can think is like, I need to go outside and water my plants at my house and cut the grass and rake the leaves and paint the stairwell and, you know, clean the windows. I feel like I'm just doing chores. And that's what you are doing. You know, if you live in an apartment in a large city and like you really want to get back to your roots and you're tired of that grind, this game can fulfill that. I don't need anything to fulfill that. I got plenty of outside work to do every day. Living in a house. So this game's great. It's not for me. Or if it was, I'm burned out on them for a while, or, you know, I've played enough farming sims in my life, but I think this is probably the best one. So if you like them, you got to get it. Strictly Limited Games release number 9. And this is supposed to be pretty good, but I feel like I haven't heard anything about it in a long time. That's Stardust Galaxy Warriors. And it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Shoot 'em up, you can see here. I think it has some like leveling up roguelite elements, but I can't remember. I ordered this like years ago and just haven't gotten to it yet. I just played this game on the Switch, or the first game in the series, Steins Gate. Everybody says it's the greatest visual novel ever made and it's going to blow your mind. I thought it was pretty good. In my review, I gave it an 8 out of 10. You can see that on my channel. But this is the sequel to it, Steins Gate 0. So it's another visual novel. I have to say, I'm realizing a lot about myself over the years, and that like visual novels just wear me out. I do a lot of reading at work, and when I come home, like I like to wind down and play video games to relax, but like visual novels, I relax too much and I have a hard time staying awake. So I can't like play them for more than 10 or 15 minutes at a time. And some of them take like 100 hours to finish. So Steins Gate on the Switch, Steins Gate Elite took me like months to finish, and I played every day. It's just like 10, 15 minutes into it and I was snoring away, guys. So that was on the Switch and I could take that portably with me. This one I have to like sit down on my couch in front of my PS4. So that might be even harder. Let me know. Is this like more daunting than Steins Gate Elite? Oh, that might be a tough ask. This made it onto my top games of the year 2022 list, and that's Steretin Binary Stars. It is a combination roguelite and shmup, and it's really good. It was on sale on PlayStation Network for $3, so I didn't open my sealed copy to preserve its value, but it was the 8th release from Strictly Limited Games. Mine's number 537, in case you want to know how they mark the back of their games. It's pretty cool. Anyway, loved this game. I thought it was really great. This game was off-putting and I didn't like it. I picked it up at a pawn shop. It was like 2 for $10 and I regret getting it. But I didn't like anything about this game. I didn't like the gameplay. I didn't like the art style. I didn't like the humor. And I found it really grotesque in like a stomach turning sort of way. I just didn't like it. But it stick it to the man. Anybody out there liked this, let me know. This game was not made for me. This is Special Reserve Games release number 1. This is the first game they put out. And it's a roguelite first-person shooter, and it is hot garbage. It is terrible. It barely plays. The frame rate is so bad, it kills you all the time. You get killed because you can't tell what's going on. And the gameplay is unbalanced and generally unfun, and it's strafe. And I played it not that long ago, and sadly, for some reason, I didn't think it was very valuable, and I cracked it open and like sealed it's worth like twice as much as it was open. So I lost half the value on this for a game that I probably shouldn't have even opened. I could have bought it on the store, like digitally for a few bucks. This game's bad. This game's really bad. People that say they like it, I feel like they've never played a game before, and they're just like, oh, it works. It doesn't really even work. Ugh, they never really patched it either. This one I haven't even cracked open. I'm excited about it. It has a lot of games on it I really like. It's the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary collection. And it has like Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Hyper, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter Second Impact, Street Fighter Third Strike. So really it has like 3 games and all their variations spread out over, what is that? That looks like 12 games. I like these. I'm okay at Street Fighter. I'm not a fantastic fighting game player. I have to put my skills in other genres, but I do like them. And I enjoy playing them more, with somebody, but no one's going to play this with me. Like, I live in a house. I'm the only guy in this house. It's just, I'm surrounded by women, like from all sides. They don't want to play Street Fighter. So I'll just be playing by myself and reliving the memories, but I'll crack this one open and get to it. This one I played with my wife, and she liked it. We finished it, and she thought it was really good, and I thought it was really good, and I'm a big fan of the series. And that's Streets of Rage 4. This is limited run game number 332. I know they have like released multiple versions of this that aren't at limited run games, and with like the DLC included on the disc and stuff. So this is like the inferior version, but I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. She did too. This is a pawn shop purchase. I don't know anything about this. It's done by Gaijin Works. Is this an RPG? I guess it's an RPG. Summon Night 6. Lost Borders? I don't know anything about the Summon Night series at all. I've played none of the games in it, and I don't think I've ever seen any of them other than this. They're on the PlayStation 2 though, right? Some of them, maybe? I can't remember. Oh well, let me know if this is any good. It's in the backlog somewhere. This is a Walmart clearance game. I went over to my friend's house one night and we played this in co-op, and the game like kept crashing on us and we did not have a good time, and it's absolutely terrible. Super Dungeon Bros. It's like a Diablo-esque, bit cartoony, over-the-top hack and slash with like some platforming. There's some point we went to where we were like supposed to pull a switch to like raise a platform, and it just never did. And the game like auto-saves, I think. So like start your whole game over. Garbage game. I paid $10 for it. I think it was not worth it. This one I imported from Europe because I think this is the only place that got a physical release. And that's Super Hot VR. Super Hot's great, like it's a first-person shooter where the enemies can only move while you move. It's supposed to be really cool in VR. Like I said, it's got the PEGI 12 rating on it. I've not played it really. I've just watched demos of it, but looking forward to this one. I think it might be really good on the PSVR. We'll find out. All right, guys, give me a couple minutes to put this stuff away and clear off my table to make room for the next batch of games. And we're back with another batch. They fell 3 times putting them on the table, by the way. 3 times. It's just unbelievable how much stuff this is. You don't realize it until you start pulling it off the shelf and you're like, oh, it's nice and organized on the shelf. And then you look and you're like, the whole couch is full, and then 2 tables, and then like extra chairs you've pulled over and set them in the chairs. And they're like, that's 1/3 of the PlayStation 4 games. It's just so much stuff. It's just so much stuff. It's unbelievable. This was a limited run game release of a digital only side-scrolling shmup that I thought was okay. Not fantastic, but decent enough. And that's Super Hydora. It worked okay. It's got some like esoteric stuff where you have to find like hidden items in the levels to access the other levels, and you have to find like all the levels are not accessed immediately. There's like multiple routes you have to take, and you have to go back and replay some levels, and it's a memorizer shmup where you have to memorize where everything's going to be and where all the bullets are coming from. You don't really react, and you know you memorize. I said it's decent enough, and I have the collector's edition. Up next is a game that only had a PAL release until Limited Run Games put it out a couple years afterwards. But that's Super Meat Boy. Like I said, this is the PAL version. I was playing the game the day that Demon Souls and Borderlands came out. Or I got them that day. And instead of coming home and playing them on the PS3, I just kept playing Super Meat Boy, which I think is one of the best platformers of all time. Fantastic game. Happy to have it physically. This is limited run game number 213. I passed on this when it came out, but I picked it up from a buddy who needed some money. Still sealed. Tacoma, I think it's a horror adventure game, but I can't remember. Anyway, I'll get to it one day. This is one of the very first Red Art Games releases, and it's really cool. It's a shmup with a little cute squid. Takaton. Looks really cool. I haven't played it, but it looks like a lot of fun. Look at the background of it. There you go. Check that out. Looks pretty good, huh? Can't wait to play that one. I said in the first video, which was like 3 hours worth of content ago, that I was really burned out on Borderlands. I played Borderlands 3 with my wife, and we were just kind of like, eh. Shortly after that, this game got picked for me to play randomly, and I almost was like, man, I don't want to play it. I ended up loving it and getting the Platinum Trophy on it. It's a Telltale game, and it's Tales from the Borderlands. And this is a great game. Great humor, cool characters, a lot of fun. I think they released a sequel to this, but it uses different characters, and I'm kind of like, I want to see these guys again. But it was like a great game. Destructoid gave it a 10 out of 10, as it says on the back. This might be the best Telltale Games release. So if you like them, you got to play this. This came from Pixel Heart. It also got a Switch release. It's a very brutal side-scrolling action game, similar to like Ninja Gaiden or something. I enjoyed it. It's Tanuki Justice. I did finish this. I remember my daughter made some friends with the next door neighbors, and they like came over and were blown away by my game room, and they were just crawling over like the couch and jumping off the chairs, and like the little boy was literally like rolling around on the floor at my feet while I was trying to like beat the last boss of this game. And I was like, guys, I'll let you play. Just give me like 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. And they were just crawling all over me. But I was able to finish it. I thought it was a decently good game. This game I thought was really good too. It's also from Red Art Games. I got the Platinum Trophy on this, and I was able to 1 credit clear this game on my first try. It's wild, it's super short, and it's not like there's multiple levels. It's just an endurance to see how long you can go, and the game loops infinitely. But the visuals are fantastic, and it's Task Force Campus. I'll let you see what it looks like on the back. It's got a, giant squid. You can see the gameplay. Very colorful, a lot of fun. I liked it. Like, I mean, by all accounts, it's not a great shmup, but I thought it was a really fun experience for a shmup. I gave it like an 8 out of 10, I think. I think this came out on the Vita and used like the back touch screen that nobody ever used. I never played it there, but they re-released it on the PS4 as Tearaway Unfolded. I got this forever ago, like like ancient times. This is done by the people that did Little Big Planet, I think. It says right on the front, of course, from the creators of Little Big Planet. I have not played this yet. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember being excited about getting it on the PS4, and it's just been on the shelf for like 5 years. This game I was sure was going to be like really hard to find, and I can't believe it got a physical release just to the general public. And I like went out of my way to track it down and like ordered it off eBay for $25. And I have seen this game repeatedly on clearance at GameStop for $4. So it's the Terra trilogy, which looks like it has like remakes of, I mean, this looks like Lunar Lander and then Scramble, and I don't know what else this is back here. It says Rock Slide Rescue. I mean, these are like, you know, vector-based kind of looking early games from like, you know, 1979, 1980, that period. I love that kind of stuff. And I was excited this got a physical release on the PS4. And my version got like chewed up. I don't know what happened to it, but like I said, it's like a $4 game. I haven't played it. Let me know if it's any good. I have tried playing this game like 4 times. I tried playing it on the PS3. I tried playing it on the PC with my buddy. I even went out of my way to like play it again on the PS4 because everybody says it's so good. And that's Terraria. As I mentioned in my last video, I'm like burned out on farming simulators like Stardew Valley, and crafting games kind of fall into that, and I cannot get into this. I have tried. I get it. I get the appeal, but like, I need like a story. Like I need a directed, driven narrative. Like I don't want to like explore and make my own fun and build stuff. I'm done with that for now. I've had too much of it. I'm burnt out on it. And this game just keeps hitting me at wrong periods. And it looks amazing. It looks so cool. And I love the idea of it. When I play it, I'm just like mining, like exploring and killing slimes and like trying to get materials. It's like, feels like chores. Oh man. And I already do so many chores, guys. Wait till you're older, or if you're already my age, you know, like, seriously, do you want to like go collect a bunch of like iron ore to make like a +1 better sword when you need to go to the grocery store and get bread and milk? Like, oh, it's just so much. Sorry, Terraria. This I have not played. I don't know if it's any good. It kind of like caught my eye, and I know it's supposed to be kind of like a roguelite. I'm not sure, but it's Teslagrad. Even the back of it, like you can't even tell like what kind of the game this is. It's just like a dude looking at a stained glass window and then a dude looking at a statue. Sweet. Is it a puzzle game? I don't know. I hope it's not a puzzle game. I hope there's some gameplay to it. Anyway, this is cheap from GameStop. People were putting this on their Game of the Year list, and I was blown away with it, so I was like, I gotta get it. And it's Tetris Effect. And this is just like Tetris. It's just Tetris, but the backgrounds are like 3D VR worlds, and they are spectacular and it's interesting, but the gameplay is just freaking Tetris. Like, I don't even know. I feel like in the future, like if we traverse the cosmos and we go into like cryogenic sleep for 150,000 years, or trying to get to the far side of the galaxy, and like you're bored and they're like pumping information into your brain to keep you entertained while you're in this cryo sleep. Like this is what Tetris would be like in that. Like just these weird, fantastical environments with just like plain old Tetris. Man, it's just plain old Tetris. It's good. Tetris is good. And the environments are cool. But like game of the year, like top 10 most amazing experiences on VR. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Like, it's cool, but it's not that cool. This is another trilogy game. I played the first game on PC and thought it was pretty decent. Played the second game on this compilation. It was okay. I've still got to play the third one. It's losing me a little bit. I feel like each one gets a little bit worse. But that's the Banner Saga trilogy. These games are a mixture of tactical grid-based combat mixed with like the Oregon Trail, where like your whole team of people is like moving across a continent, and you have to like ration your food and your weapons, and we're gonna ford the river, we're gonna cross this ice chasm, and that kind of stuff mixed with the combat. And it's really cool, but like I think one game's enough. And these are like, you got to play through all 3 if you're going to do it. It is a continuing story. So the first game ended on a cliffhanger before game 2, and game 2 ends on a cliffhanger before game 3. So it's like one complete adventure. So Still pretty cool. It has some interesting graphics that remind me of that like old 70s Hobbit movie that people my age watched as a kid. It looks like that. So it's been a cool experience. This game's dirt cheap, and I think it's probably worth it. This is my favorite game of all time. I've just decided I'm going to say it's my favorite game of all time. There's a new version out on the PS5, which I purchased. I haven't played it yet. But since I haven't played that, this still reigns supreme. And that's The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. It's like roguelite based off the dungeon exploration and the old Zelda games. Tons of items, tons of characters, plenty of nuance, and I love this game. It's my Desert Island game. If I had to pick one game to play for the rest of my life, it would be The Binding of Isaac. So get the new version on the PS5 or on the Switch, but you know, this is the earlier version of that. So they've changed things up. If you want to go back to the old way, I guess pick up this copy. This is a full motion video horror game. I played it for Christmas a few years ago. 5 years ago? 4 years ago? It's limited run game number 67. About a guy who lives in this bunker after a nuclear apocalypse. And like he's the last one alive and he's trying to survive. It's fairly creepy. But it's called The Bunker. And it was decent enough. I beat it in a setting or two. And I thought the acting was good and the sets were really cool. They spent a lot of time walking around in warehouses though. There are a lot of like water pump wheels and things like that. But it has like a twist ending that I thought was pretty good. This is on a recent games pickup video. This came from Hard Copy Games, and it's called The Eternal Castle. It looks like it's a cinematic platformer like Prince of Persia or Out of This World. And it's got these like cool, like, these look like EGA graphics, I guess, is what I would describe them as. But apparently the creator of this game played this game when he was a kid and had fond memories of it. And when he spoke to people about it, they had no idea what he was talking about. And in his research, it like didn't exist. So he imagined this game that never was made. Anyway, he recreated it from his memories, and it's supposed to be this game here. So it looks pretty cool. I like cinematic platformers to a point. Prince of Persia's okay. Out of This World's really good. Heart of the Alien's okay. I hate Flashback. It's too much puzzle stuff in that, but this one looks good. And like I said, EGA graphics, it looks like this. Kind of like, there you go. I have the first game of this on the PS3 sealed from when it was new, and I have not played it yet, so I can't play this one till I play it. But it's The Evil Within 2, and I know it's supposed to be super creepy and weird. I hear mixed things about them, but I'll get to this one day. Ooh, ha ha ha. This game was supposed to come out with limited run games for like a long time, and people waited. Before that, they released it in Japan, and I purchased it, and it's the Game Paradise Cruisin' Mix. This is like an obscure and very expensive and hard to find Sega Saturn game. It's a shoot 'em up. Anyway, I went ahead and bought this version from Japan because I wanted it. The limited run version came out, and apparently like the discs are defective and it's like missing content on it, and they have not replaced anybody's discs. Thanks, guys. But this version is complete, and it has the DLC on it, I believe. Supposed to be really fun and really cool. You're like flying around old arcades in Japan, and you like shoot arcade machines and sodas and stuff like that. It's real tongue-in-cheek and supposed to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I guess this is like a horror visual novel. I don't know. I'll get to it one day. You've heard me rant about visual novels during this. I keep picking them up, and then I'm like, every time they get picked, I'm like leery to play it, but I have to. This is limited run game number 259, and it's The House in Fata Morgana. So, Fata Morgana, Fate of Morgana. Anyway, Dreams of the Revenants edition. Anyway, visual novel, right? Creepy, spooky, I don't know. Is it a dating sim? We'll find out. Am I going to date a pigeon at the end of it? Who knows? Is it going to tell me my name? Does it know my name? Can it read my driver's license through my wallet? That's a visual novel joke, guys. If you're into visual novels, you'll probably get both of those references, but like 99% of you guys out there will be like, God, did he just have a stroke? This game is made by the people that did Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology games and the newest game, The Quarry. And this is a VR game, and it sucks hard. It is real bad. It is not good. It is The Inpatient. I guess it's a prequel to Until Dawn, but it is like, you're just basically standing around a jail cell like most of the game, and like terrible stuff happens in the hallways and you hear it, and then like you go wander around this big, huge and expansive like mental asylum, but like nothing ever happens. Like it's just like creepy stuff's happening over there and you're over here. So, I mean, stuff does happen. I finished it, but like everybody's like, you can get the platinum trophy in 2 hours. And I was like, nah, man, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to go back and like do it, get the rest of it. Even though it was like another hour's worth of my time, I was like, I'm done. So, I'll show you a picture of the back of the gameplay. Look at this. See that right there? That like hallway? That's the game. That's what you do in this game. It's funny that they've chosen to focus on a hallway for the back of the box. Of all the pictures they could put to entice you to buy this, they put a picture of a flipping hallway. And that's what you're going to be looking at when you play this. So, not great. I paid $3 for it on clearance at GameStop, or like used. Oh, This is actually a better VR game called The Invisible Hours. And it's like a Nikola Tesla. It's almost like watching like a performance in a theater, like a stage production, but you're like walking around on the stage invisibly. So like you can move amongst the actors and stuff. And it's pretty cool. There's a little bit of interaction with it, but it's mostly just kind of watching as events unfold. And as I recall, like everything happens in real time over an hour. So like there might be a conversation in a room over here and a different conversation in a room over here, and you can't experience both at the same time. So like one playthrough you'll listen over here, and then the next playthrough you'll listen over here. And slowly over time you like unravel what's really going on. And I think it is a murder mystery, but it is pretty decent. My complaint about this is that the character models are all sized like an 8-year-old child. So like my height, I'm not super tall, like I'm just under 6 foot, but like everybody was like this tall. So I felt like I was looking down like at like children, like I needed to duck down to be eye level with them. I think they should have made the scale of the characters bigger. And the house that they were in didn't feel small. Like as I walked upstairs, I felt like they were in scale to my body. But all the other characters were like, 4'11". But it's still a pretty decent game. If you haven't noticed, guys, we're in thes right now. These all games all start with the word the, which was alphabetized correctly on my shelf, but in the spreadsheet I printed out to like pull these games down and show them to you, it doesn't know to exclude the, so they're in the T's. And I wanted to use a spreadsheet so I didn't miss any games. I have games like tucked away in different parts of the room on display, and I didn't want to forget about a collector's edition like that's, over here somewhere. I wanted to make sure I had everything for you. So as I'm pulling them off the shelf, these games, even though this game should be like alphabetized as L, it's in the T's. And that's The Last Guardian, which is like the last game kind of in that Shadow of the Colossus eco sort of thing. You have this big like bird dog thing named Trico, and you direct him. And the atmosphere is cool, and it definitely invokes that feeling of Shadow of the Colossus and Eco. But the dog bird thing is super flippin' irritating. His AI is like too good. So like just like a dog in real life, if you give them commands, like there's a good chance they'll do what you ask if they're trained well. But there's a chance they may just not do it. Like you tell them to speak and they roll over. Or if they're not trained well, they just do whatever the hell they want. Like Trico kind of does that. Like you tell him to come and he like licks his butt, or like, tell him to stay and he like jumps through a window. And it's kind of annoying. You're kind of fighting against him the whole time, or her. And that's what most of the gameplay is. It's puzzle solving where like you have a partner that doesn't speak your language. And so I kind of got worn out with it. My daughter watched me play a fair amount of this. She was very young. She was like 3 or 4. And in her mind, she's like, this is the best game of all time. I remember her like asking me the other day, she's like, let's play the best game ever. And I was like, what game are you talking about? She's played a lot of games at this point. Astrobot? You want to play Astrobot? You want to play Super Mario Odyssey? She's like, no, the one with the dog. I had no idea what she was talking about. She was talking about this game. She just remembered him being like really cute. This game's not that great. It's not like Shadow of Colossus and Eco good by any stretch of the imagination. This game, on the other hand, is one of my favorite games of all time. I love it. It's very impactful. There's a TV show on HBO about to debut for this, and I'm very thrilled. My daughter's named after a character in this game, so that's how much it meant to me. It's The Last of Us. I think it's a fantastic game, and I love it with all my heart. I played through it. I got all the trophies except for the multiplayer ones because I didn't want to burn myself out playing it. I loved it that much. And I played it on the PS3. I bought this to play the DLC, which I thought was also fantastic. Combined with that, and I know this game got a lot of hate, but I guess some people when they get older, they get like less accepting, and some people when they get older, they get more accepting. And I'm more accepting now. I don't get irritated by as many things as a lot of people do. And the gripes people had about this game, they didn't bother me at all. I thought it was a beautiful game and fantastic, and it's The Last of Us Part 2. Heart-wrenching. This one, when I was done, I was so emotionally exhausted that I couldn't play it again. So I played it once and put it on the shelf. We'll probably play it again one day. I think this is a masterpiece of a game. I think it and the first one are both 10 out of 10. Unparalleled, really wonderful games. And I really love this. And so, depending on your background and how you grew up and your family situation, this may not hit as hard for a lot of you out there as it does for me. So, these games are not for everybody, although I do think that the work that Naughty Dog put into this is spectacular. This one only had like a passing interest in getting, and I actually took it off my wish list. And then I saw the collector's edition just sitting at a GameStop on clearance and was like, oh, that's cool. I picked it up for a few bucks, only to find out this game is like, hard to find now. It's another Nippon Ichi software game. Mine's sealed. I can't crack it open. It's too expensive now, but it's The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. I forget what the deal is with this game, the gameplay, but like I said, I think it's like you lead him around, but it's a side-scroller platforming puzzler game. I think so. There's like a new version of this game that has like a similar name that's like The Lethargic Penguin and the Hungry Cassowary or something. Like I don't like it's so hard to remember names like this. I don't know. But that one's gotten really expensive too. So I'll try this one day. It is in the backlog, but I don't know that I want to crack open this version of it. This one's supposed to be a masterpiece. Like I've heard people say, like Gerard from The Completionist says this is like the best side-scroller of all time. And I picked it up from Special Reserve Games, and I have the limited edition, and it's The Messenger. It's unopened. I will get to it one day, I promise. This one I'm very excited about. This might be a gold star game. I haven't mentioned it. Play all my games randomly, guys. All this stuff behind me, it gets picked for me randomly. I don't choose. But if I finish enough games, I earn a gold star, which allows me to pick a game I want. And I might use one for The Messenger. Limited run game number 323. This one was on my wish list for games that I hope come out physically, and it did. And this is The Missing of, what is it? J.J. McField and the Island of Memories. This is done by... Is this done by Suda51 or something? It's done by one of those like Auteur strange Japanese developers like Suda51 or what's the guy who did Deadly Premonition? Anyway, one of those guys. This is a strange game. You play as JJ and she gets like, she can't die and she gets like dismembered and it's a puzzle platformer. Very strange. The back of it says like, use your head, which you will be because you'll be rolling around as a decapitated head solving puzzles quite often. Very strange game. I wrote a review for this on GameFAQs. And strange experience. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it has a lot to say, but it doesn't have a lot that makes you want to play. Man, I thought that was going to be more clever than it was. Sometimes these like pearls of wisdom roll off my tongue, and other times it's like, oh, I'm just spinning up raw oysters. This one's done by Way Forward. This is limited run game number 372, and it is The Mummy Demastered. This was done by Way Forward, and it's like the game to go along with that terrible Tom Cruise Mummy movie that came out. But it's apparently like a side-scrolling 8-bit or 16-bit Metroidvania. So, like, jokes on them. Like, this game is supposed to be really good. And I'm looking forward to playing this one day. This is the remake of the Super Nintendo game, right? The Ninja Warriors. But this is the Ninja Saviors Return of the Warriors. And this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. I did play this in the arcade when I was a kid, but I don't remember much about it. Anyway, Taito and Einen, the developer, not the developer, the publisher that put this out. They've been knocking it out of the park with these. And so I got this one off Amazon. It was a gift from my wife. It was on my wish list. I have all my stuff on a spreadsheet, and she just gives me gifts off my wish list on my spreadsheet. So this is one of those. Thanks. Nailed it. 4 times the games have fallen on the floor today. This is the quintessential bargain bin, cheap PlayStation 4 game. It is the Order 1886. And this game looks unbelievable. It looks fantastic. They show the game in a small, like ultra thin widescreen. We would call it like the aspect ratio. The aspect ratio of this game is extreme, and it's so they can like up the graphical fidelity, because like the PlayStation 4 couldn't process it if it was full screen. And it's mostly like a walking sim with some action parts, but it takes place in like Victorian era London, and it's overrun with like werewolves and stuff, and you play as like the King's Guard or something that hunts down these werewolves. I thought it was a decent enough game. It was short, sure, and I guess if you bought this on release and paid like, $70 for it, you'd be really upset. But I paid like $8 for it, and so I got way more than $8 worth of enjoyment out of it. Sorry guys, I'm shuffling around. I've been standing up for like almost 4 hours doing these videos for you, so my legs are getting tired. But anyway, I thought the Order 1886 was pretty decent. This is done by Obsidian. I know they did like Fallout New Vegas. I've actually never played an Obsidian game that I know of. So people loved this. I haven't played it yet. I picked it up clearance somewhere cheaply, but it's the Outer Worlds. I know it's supposed to be pretty fun. I'll get to it. This is an isometric puzzler that I thought was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot, and it's the Sexy Brutale. It's really neat. You play as multiple characters through different timelines, and there's murders in I guess it's like a casino or a hotel called the Sexy Brutale. And I really liked it. It had some like Metroidvania kind of elements where you could leave keys and doors unlocked for like other characters to play through later in different timelines. And it's like, oh yeah, it has like a Groundhog Day mechanic. So you only have like 10 minutes to like figure out how to stop this murder, and then after 10 minutes it rewinds, and each time you play through, you gain a little bit more information to figure out how to do it. And I liked this game a lot. I thought it was fun. I think this is like Suda 5-1's Snatcher. So like Hideo Kojima did Snatcher, which is this like action adventure game, investigation sort of situation. And Suda 5-1, who really likes to copy Hideo Kojima, did this game called The Silver Case, trying to kind of copy that gameplay. And I could not get into this, and I tried really hard. It just wasn't for me. I felt like it was not weird enough. Maybe I didn't get far enough into it, but once again, Nippon Ichi Software, their games, it seems like every time like it would be something I'd love, and I play it and I'm like, it just doesn't sit well with me. So let me know if I should give this one another shot. I only made it a couple hours into it. This is a first-person puzzle perspective game that I really liked. I thought it had a cool story and it had really cool environments, and it's the Talos Principle. I thought it was really good. It's kind of like I said, I'd put it in the same category as like Portal, but it's not as good as Portal. But it's that same sort of thing. You play as this robot that's going through all these puzzles after the downfall of humanity, and like humanity has set up this series of puzzles to, I guess, train the robot to think like a human, I guess, to carry on humanity in a sort of sense. But very interesting. The puzzles were challenging and tough, but not so hard that you like tore your hair out. I don't think I had to like look any up online, but some did take me some serious thinking, and I liked this one a lot. All right. The King of Fighters 2002. This is one of the limited run games, Neo Geo special releases. I have all of the King of Fighters games on the Neo Geo for realsies. But I don't have 2002, and instead of dishing out for it, I thought I would just opt for the PS4 version. I have like King of Fighters 94 through 2001 on the Neo Geo. So here's 2002. I think there's a 2003 as well that I'm waiting for Limited Run Games to put out someday. Hopefully they will. And here's another heavy hitter Neo Geo game that Limited Run Games released on the PS4, and that's The Last Blade 2. Happy to have this one. This one's hard to track down on the Neo Geo. All right, another brief intermission. Let me clear this off. There's only 3 stacks left. Thank God. All right, we're getting there, guys. Let's get back into it. I did a video for this. It's one of the best videos I've done on my channel called The Rarest PS4 Game You've Never Heard Of. Talking about a game called Pineview Drive, a Canadian-only release that probably only came out in like Walmart's in a certain territory. I don't know. You can't find it anywhere. Anyway, it was released in the PAL region on this compilation called The Truth Is Out There Collection, or sorry, Mystery Adventure Pack, and has Pineview Drive, Joe's Diner, and The Nightfall. All 3 of which are supposed to be absolutely terrible horror games. But looking forward to playing these. Like I said, PAL import. I really like this. This is The Walking Dead Season 2. I don't think it was as good as Season 1. This is Telltale Games. Season 2 was very good, but the better way to play it is right here, which is The Walking Dead Definitive Series. This has all of the games and the DLCs and the expansions, but there's some problems with this. I think this might be like a dead disc. If you don't have access to the servers. So this requires patches. This is buggy, like your save games and your decisions don't carry over from one game to the other without the patch. So I don't know, maybe the other one's the better way to play it. So I did a review of this. It was my very first games I played recently video where I talk about this compilation. So give it a shot if you like the Telltale series of games and you like The Walking Dead. You got to play these. 10 out of 10 game. It's fantastic. It's getting re-released, I think, with an updated version, but it's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And I went into this without playing any of the other Witcher games, and I started on Death March difficulty on my very first playthrough, and it almost killed me, but I got the Platinum Trophy on this one. Was really excited to play the DLC when they released this, The Witcher 3 Complete Edition. As you can see, I got mine on clearance at Walmart for $10 dues. This has the DLC on disc. The problem is, though, this version of the game and that version of the game share separate trophy lists. So your save game from that one does not carry over to this one. So if I want to play the DLC on this, I'd have to start over from the beginning of the game. And considering I put about 150 hours into the Witcher, maybe 120, I don't know that I want to do that. So I might just download the DLC to play on the original one. But it's still cool to have this and have everything on disc because it is a magnificent game and it is like game of the year it came out for sure. This is an indie darling game. It's limited run game number 22. It's Thomas Was Alone. This is a simple platforming puzzle game. The graphics are about as good as you see here on the cover. And as you can see on the back of the game, they really like amp it up, right? They want you to buy it. It's just black. But really cool story. It has nice narration, and I think it has an interesting story to tell about friendship and enemies and sabotage. And you just play as little geometric blocks. So pretty fun game. I played the demo of this on the PSV's VR disc, and it blew me away. It's a rhythm horror game. Sweet. And Limited Run Games released it. It was number 172, and it's Thumper. And it's pretty cool and pretty tense. The problem with it is the levels are way too flippin' long. Like some of them are like 15 or 20 minutes long. And that's too long for a song to learn it. So it was tiring. And my neck gets like super tired when I use the PSVR. So I don't want to sit there for hours using it, and having to play the same level over and over and over again to try to get like a perfect score was too much with this. I enjoyed playing the demo of this more than I enjoyed actually playing the game, believe it or not. We have another M2 shot triggers release here. This is the Tiger Heli Toa Plan collection. This has Tiger, Shark, and Tiger Heli in it. And I think also Get Star maybe, which is an obscure arcade game. But these are really fun. So you have, is it Firehawk? Fire Shark? I can't remember. But it definitely has like the the PC Engine, the NES, the Genesis versions of these on here, along with all the training modes, as well as the arcade versions. So, pretty cool. It's definitely Tiger Hellion. I think it is it Fire Shark? Tiger Shark? I can't remember. No, Kyokugu Tiger. That's it. That's it. So, pretty fun compilation if you can get your hands on it. You got to play it. You got to get all those M2 Shot Triggers releases. Okay. Earlier I talked about Slay the Spire being like the hidden gem on the system that you get for $7. Here's another hidden gem that's like probably less than $7. Never played the online multiplayer. I'm not sure if you've even had it. The first game was only multiplayer, but this one they put a story and it is good. It's one of the best first-person shooters I've ever played. Fluid gameplay, cool story, amazing worlds. And that's Titanfall 2. Believe it or not, don't sleep on this game. Titanfall 2 is magnificent. This is a fantastic first-person shooter, and if you haven't played it, you got to go pick it up. It is dirt cheap. You might be able to get it for $1 or something, but the gameplay in this on the single-player campaign is wonderful. This says it's the #1 most funded RPG on Kickstarter. This is like the spiritual successor to Planescape Torment. I couldn't remember. It's like one of those Baldur's Gate spin-offs. Anyway, Torment Tides of Numenera. Numenera, yes. And I have not played this. It's a CRPG. Like I said, I like CRPGs, but the trial and error to get good at them, I'm bad at it. Like I don't think that way. I'm not a trial and error kind of person. I am a dive in and like, let's see if I can fix it. But when my first solution doesn't work immediately, I'm like, well, I'm dumb or the game's broken. Like that's the end of it. Surely there are no other options here. And these games kind of fall into that. And but I do like the world building in them, and the characters are usually pretty interesting. So I did pick this one up to give it a shot. I'm not going to get into the history of the Toho games. They're independent shoot 'em ups on Japanese computers. I have like all of them. Anyway, woo. But they do use the characters a lot in other releases. And this is Toho Ginso Bullet Ballet. And this is the collector's edition of that. I can't believe this got a Western release. Like, not through limited run games. Just like a general release. I bought this at GameStop. And this is like... What is that game on the 360? Anyway, it's like a mech. Well, it's not a mech. In this case, you're playing as like little witch girls. But it's an arena fighter twin stick kind of shooter game. I don't know how to really describe it. And the back of the cover doesn't really show what it's like. If you've ever played games like this before, these Bullet Ballet and the Ginso Rondo series, you'll know what it's like. It's a decent game. They're fun, but like, I feel like the only way to win is like to cheese the enemies. And so it's basically like a boss rush all the way through. Anyway, I'm glad to have this. You don't hear about this one much anymore. I just pulled it out to show you. It's called Wartech Cinco Ronda. And that game, this game is like a reskin of this with like cute girls. So anyway, it's fun enough. I wrote a review of this on GameFAQs and it was selected to be Review of the Month. This is a terrible and not fun roguelite first-person shooter called Tower of Guns. And it was on my wish list, and my good buddy, who I really respect his taste in games, was like, take that off your list. It is no good. And then I added it back on the list, and then it sat there for years, and I never saw it. I took it off the list, and then I came across it somewhere and picked it up for a few bucks. But it is bad. You like select your loadout to begin with, and you go through this tower of everything is guns, like guns that shoot guns and cannons and lasers and everywhere. And you work your way through multiple floors, picking up items along the way to increase your strength. And then you do it all over and over and over again, trying to like unlock new guns and whatever. It's not very fun. It's clunky. And I feel like you either get so overpowered, you just destroy whole rooms in one shot, or you like run around with a pea shooter for 45 minutes. Anyway, I did not think this was a great game. I would not recommend it. I love the idea of this game, but it made me realize how bad I am at racing games. And that's Trackmania Turbo. If you've never played Trackmania, you're driving these really well-handling cars through these like insane tracks with loops and flips and jumps and stuff. And the goal of this game is to like run the track as perfectly as possible. So you're not really racing against anyone. You're like racing against the time. And I mean, like you'll spend 8 hours grinding to remove like one fraction of a second from your time. And so it's tense, and I'm not good enough to do it. Like, I think I beat the developer score on like a couple of tracks at the beginning and then never again. And I put a lot of time into this, and the trophies are hard on this. But if you've seen Trackmania, you know what it looks like. If that's your thing, and I applaud you. But this is fun casually. I wish there was more content for the casual player of this, because this goes from like casual to hardcore in like 20 minutes. I wish there was like 3 hours of casual tracks and then like, 10 hours of hardcore tracks. Once again, this is another VR game from the creators of Rick and Morty. I have not played this, but it's Trover Saves the Universe. It's supposed to be funny, I guess. I like Rick and Morty a lot. I mentioned Accounting Plus, which is another game kind of in this series, and it was just like over-the-top nonsense skits that you interacted with. It was mainly all the humor was derived from profanity, which, I mean, that happens in Rick and Morty too. So I think this probably falls into that. We'll see if this is any better. One of the best series of all time. I think it's probably my favorite series on the PS3, and they re-released it on the PS4, and that's the Nathan Drake Uncharted collection. It's got Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. Great games. I mean, everybody knows they're fantastic. Uncharted 2 was my favorite. Uncharted 3 was also, I considered like a 10 out of 10 game, but it was just right below Uncharted 2. And I thought Uncharted 1 was really good, but the gameplay was a little clunkier. And the end of it, where it got a little bit too horror-based, I think turned some people off. And I think it turned me off at the time, too. I thought it killed the atmosphere of the game, but still amazing. And of course, to go with it, you have to have Uncharted 4, which it was different than Uncharted 2 and 3. I think I liked the story the best in this one, and the gameplay was really good too. I loved this game. I thought it was a 10 out of 10 as well. Great. The Uncharted games, what can you say about them? It's all been said already. This one, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, the gameplay is the same as Uncharted 4, but you play as Chloe, and I forget the other. She was like the mercenary from the fourth game. This was decent enough. I like the characters, but they don't like each other. So the banter that's so much fun in the Uncharted games between like Sully and Nathan and all, that really like gives some levity to the game and is uplifting and whimsical, that's like missing from here. It's just them like bickering the whole time, which was irritating. They become friends as you go along, as you can imagine, but that kind of hurt it for me in the beginning. Like, I wanted that joyous feeling, but it's missing here. This game's really good. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like an RPG shmup adventure game. And what hasn't been said about Undertale? I played through this once as a pacifist. I did the pacifist run. I never attacked anyone, and got all the trophies. I platinumed it. But I want to go through again and actually like attack some people. I never did a single attack in this game. Still haven't. I should go back through it again and do like the masochist run or whatever, and attack everyone. So I think it's pretty cool. This is done from Supermassive Games that do the Man of Medan series or the Dark Pictures anthology in the bunker. This is their first big game. It's Until Dawn, kind of like a choose your own adventure sort of horror game where you have a bunch of rich kids up in a cabin and there's a stalker after them, and who's gonna die, who's gonna live, and your choices determine that. I loved this game. I thought it was fantastic. Got the platinum trophy on this one. A lot of fun. I'm excited to play The Quarry. I have it, but I haven't played it yet. And this is like a 3D or a VR spin-off of that game called Until Dawn Rush of Blood. And I thought this game was going to be terrible, and it's one of my favorite VR games of all time. You're basically just on a roller coaster going through a lot of different environments, and it's just like an akimbo two-gun shooter game. So it's like a target gallery shooting, but in a horror setting, and it was a lot of fun. I think I also got the platinum trophy on this one. I loved it. I played it for Christmas a few years ago and really enjoyed it. Everybody knows this game. It was a meme. It was a hit. I haven't played it yet, but I got the I Am 8-Bit like collector's edition of it, and they re-released it at GameStop and stuff, and I wish I'd gotten that one because it was cheaper, although this one comes in kind of a cool container. But it's the Untitled Goose Game. Rake in the lake, right? I want to play this. I like geese. They chase me around a lot, and I have a contentious love-hate relationship with them. So I want to be the goose. I want to have a love-hate relationship with someone else where I get to be the goose and not be the one chased around for food, but rather do the chasing. Looks pretty great. This is the cyberpunk bartender action game Valhalla, or VA11HA11-A, Valhalla. This is limited run game number 31 release. I don't know what the kind of game this is. I don't know if it's very good. I think it's supposed to be sort of similar to Papers, Please, which I love that game. If it's close to that, then this is probably like, you know, fantastic. I missed this when it came out, and I got to buy this on one of limited run games, like second chance offer sales that they did. And so I'm glad I got it second time around. I played the first one of this and absolutely loved it. Just thought it was magnificent. And I own the second one. It's on the PSP. And the third one's also on the PSP, but it never came out here in the United States, only in Japan, I believe. But it's Valkyria Chronicles 4. This is an RPG, but it's a strategy combat game in a third-person view, which is kind of cool, turn-based. If you haven't played these, they're a lot of fun. I wonder how it's going to go. It has kind of like a World War II sort of feel to it, which I like a lot. And so I'm excited about this one. This is from Strictly Limited Games. I don't remember what release this was of theirs, but it was a while ago. It's a shmup series I've never played. It's the Visara collection. It says Visara 1 and 2 in it. I really want to dive into these. This has gotten pricey, so like a lot of these games, I'm going to have to download it and buy the digital version to save the money here. Like I said, this stuff's worth over $15,000. I didn't pay nearly that for it, like not even close. So a lot of this stuff is appreciated, which I don't really care about that. But then again, I don't want to like waste value. You know, if I can find somebody that has an open version of this that's worth $50, you know, and this to say this is sealed and it's worth $100, I can trade him this if he wants it, or her this, get the $50 from them, and then they can trade me something else, and I can add more games to my collection. So that happens sometimes. So I don't want to throw that value away. It's about the games, not the value, but if the value gets me more games, then it has value. I played this with my wife in co-op. It's kind of like a janky budget version of Diablo, and it's Victor Vron. This is the Overkill edition that has the DLC, which one was like the Fractured Worlds, which I don't remember much about it. The other one was the Motorhead, like Lemmy from Motorhead is featured on the front of this and on the back. And my wife and I both like Motorhead well enough, and so we enjoyed it. We played through this. It does not hold up as well as Diablo 3, and it has some weird platforming in it too, where you have to jump to like hidden areas, as I recall. And isometric views are not well suited to jumping to hidden areas. Here's another Red Art game shmup that I missed, and I don't remember why, but I did not pre-order it, and it was like 20 or 30 euros. I had to go on eBay and buy it, and once again, I didn't pay $80 this time like I did for Red Death, but I paid like 60, and that's Void Gore, and I hear this is supposed to be not very good. But like I said, I buy every physical shmup that comes out that I know about. So we'll give this one a shot. It's in the backlog, like all of these. I'll get to it one day. Shmups I get to a little bit quicker. There's so many of them that I have in here. I bought this on a whim. This is limited run game number 300, Wander Song. And I don't know anything about this game. It got fantastic reviews, so I picked it up, but I don't know anything about it. Let me know if it's any good. It looks bright and colorful. Sorry, I'm shuffling around again, guys. My left leg is like asleep. I've been standing up so long. Anyway, 150 characters to meet and discover. I don't know. We'll try it out. Looks pretty cool. This game got really good reviews, and it looks like a fun tactical and strategy RPG game, and it just like became a budget game almost right away, but I think it's like probably a hidden gem. But it's Wargroove. Looks pretty cool. I mean, the back of it looks like what you'd want, you know, and a strategy, tactical RPG kind of game. Anyway, looks pretty sweet. I'm excited about this one. Nobody ever mentions it. Oh man, this was the game that they premiered or showed a trailer of to get everybody excited for the PS4, and it like blew my mind. In my mind now, the trailer like looks better than what would be on like the PlayStation 6. Like it looked so unbelievable. you know, like crumpled paper blowing across the street. You could like read the words on the paper as it went by. Just incredible fidelity and stuff. And of course, that did not happen. That was all like pre-rendered gameplay, but the game is Watch Dogs. It was fine. I went through and played it. It's kind of like a lamer Grand Theft Auto clone where you're like hacking stuff. What I remember about this is you would like hack people's smartphones and it would give you their personal information. And it would show like the salary of everyone you made or everyone you hacked. And like no one had a normal salary. It would be like occupation and it would say like coffee barista. And it's like how much she makes. It's like $11,000 a year. And you're like, what? And then it would be like, computer programmer and his salary was like $475,000. Like it would just be crazy. You never saw like some person is like, what does this person do for a living? It's like, you know, they're an IT specialist and they make $65,000. Like, I don't think I saw anybody that fell within like the normal range of median income in the United States, like the whole time. And I remember there were two people sitting talking to each other, and one guy was an online investor, and it said his salary was $10 million a year. And the person he was talking to, her salary was like, it was funny or something. She was like a con artist and her salary was like $8,000 a year. It was crazy. That's what I remember from it the most, other than like running around shooting people. But Watch Dogs was good enough. I never played the sequel though. This is an IM 8-bit release. I really enjoyed this game. I got the platinum trophy on it. It's a game about friendship. Watum. There's 3 different covers. This is the Apple one, and I really liked this game. You basically just kind of like, it's like Katamari. You walk around like regions and you talk to different characters and uncover stuff. I don't know how to describe it. I've never played anything like it, but it was really good. It's really cute. But I remember my daughter being like, Daddy, why are you playing this? This is a game for babies. She was like 5. But I thought it was a good game. And I liked the Apple cover the best, although I wish I had all 3 of them. This is the best walking sim. This is the best walking sim ever. It's an IM 8-bit release as well. And great stories about like a tragic family where terrible things happen to everyone, but it's told in such a unique way. I haven't really seen anything like it, and I loved it. Got the platinum trophy. What Remains of Edith Finch? And this is a fantastic walking simulator. I could see how if you've never played one before that you like, this could like change your mind. And so I can't recommend this one highly enough. I think I showed this in my first pickups video I ever did on this YouTube channel, but it's from Play Asia once again, East Asia Soft once again, and it's called Wife Quest. It's supposed to be like kind of like a cutesy side-scrolling RPG beat 'em up, kind of like Wonder Boy, I think, the Wonder Boy series, but with like cute girls. And they built it up as it being like really kind of like ultra sexy and like, you know, like scantily clad women. And even the back, they like focus on that. But I read a review and they're like, guys, it's not like that at all. They're just pushing that for extra sales. They just want more people to buy it for that reason. And it's like nothing you wouldn't see on the NES. So we'll give it a shot. It looks kind of fun. I like the Wonder Boy series. This is one of the most expensive Super Nintendo games, and they re-released it on the PS4, and that's Wild Guns. And this is Wild Guns Reloaded by Natsume. This game looks amazing for a 16-bit game, and they introduced some really cool characters here that I liked, but there's a problem. This game has 4-player co-op. However, when you play this game solo, you have 4 lives. If you play with one other person, you each only have 2 lives. If you play with 3 people, each person only gets 1 life. If you play with 4 people, each person only gets 1 life. So it's like no continues. And so to play this co-op, you need to play with like 4 people that have mastered this game, which is not easy. I've played it 2 separate occasions, and I don't think I was ever able to beat it. I was really close. You can pick from the first 4 stages the order you want to do, and I learned those 4 fairly well. And then I think after that, maybe 2 or 3 more open up. But I was not able really to get a full grasp on those and learn to like clear them. I didn't have the time for it. And I wanted to play this co-op with a friend, and man, it's harder in co-op than it is solo. So they really messed it up with this. They should have, if you're playing in co-op, give you like unlimited continues or more lives or something. Don't like punish you for playing with your friends. It's annoying. All right, guys, we're down to the last stack. I can see it. We're almost done. This is unbelievable. I've been at this for like 5 hours. My throat is so parched. Let's dive in and do these last games. Let me put these others on the shelf to make room. All right, guys, we're almost there. This is the last batch. It's been so long. It's been an eternity. This is a Neo Geo re-release on the PS4 done by Limited Run Games. This is the collector's edition of Windjammers. If you've never played Windjammers, it's a mixture of like Pong and Street Fighter done with a Frisbee. So you pick like your character and you're trying to throw a Frisbee past your opponent, but you can do like special attacks with a Frisbee by putting in special commands with the controller. And it's a lot of fun. It's secretly probably my favorite game on the Neo Geo. So glad to have it on the PS4. Limited Run game number 347. This is a roguelite. A lot of people were playing this for a while, but I think like it just kind of fizzled out. But it's Wizard of Legend. It looks pretty good. I'm excited about this one. It reminds me of kind of like Enter the Gungeon, but without ammunition or guns. Another Telltale game. This one was pretty good. They only did one season of this one, but it's The Wolf Among Us, which I think is based on a graphic novel. It was kind of cool with the fantasy, like mythological and horror creatures. I enjoyed this one well enough. I think I got the platinum on it as well. I really liked this game, and it kind of caught me by surprise. I enjoyed it, but it's the only one I've played in the modern series. I played the old ones years ago, but Wolfenstein: The New Order. I thought this was really good. Like, pretty nice. And then it had like a prequel DLC that they released physically called Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. I've heard this isn't great, but I'm glad to have this physically. I didn't think I would ever get it. And then I have not played this. I don't remember picking it up. I knew I had it. I don't know where it came from, but Wolfenstein 2. The New Colossus. Okay, I'm sure it's fantastic. It even says at the bottom, Best Action Game at the Game Awards 2017, which was 6 years ago now, by the way. That's how long this has been sitting on the shelf. This is Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap. This is Limited Run game number 73, which is a remake of a Sega Master System game, I believe. Pretty sure. I might even have this on the PC Engine. I can't remember. But it's supposed to be pretty cool. I secretly love this franchise, and I have a lot of the compilations I need to get through, but this is the most modern one, and this is Worms, Weapons of Mass Destruction, and it's got a neat lenticular cover on it that I really like. I like the Worms games, and I like Wreckface pretty hard on them. I'm really good. I used to play on a LAN during my typing class in high school. We would all play each other, and I would just destroy people. When it came out on the Xbox 360, on Xbox Live, like, I won almost every single match I did. I knew all the tricks. And I could kick like a grenade across the entire map and like bop them on the head with it. I was really good at Worms, but I haven't played in a while. I want to dive in and give this one another shot. I played these games back in the day on the PC, and I loved the release of this on the Xbox 360, and I think I got all the trophies or achievements in it. This they released on PC, and it did not come out physically for a long time, but it's XCOM 2, and I got the XCOM 2 collection that has the DLC on it. They kind of dropped the ball on XCOM 2, man. They, you have your tactical combat scenarios, but outside of that, you have to like upgrade your base. And in this one, there's like a strict time limit. And if you don't upgrade your base the way they want you to, like if you choose to focus on, let's say like, I'm going to upgrade my power reserves as opposed to my telecommunications, then like you can't win the game. Like you just fail. So they're like, oh, you're supposed to go back and experiment. And no, I don't want to do that, man. Let me do what I want. But there's, like I said, there's a time limit constantly ticking away in this. And if you don't like sort out the way you upgrade your base the way they plan for you to, then like you get soft locked and you can't beat the game, which is really annoying. So I played this one. The difficulty's really high and it was really hard on this. I bumped it down to like normal difficulty, not hardcore, where like if your character dies, when your characters die, they're gone forever. And I was still struggling with it. So I think the balance is off on this one. And I'm not bad at these kind of games. I'm usually pretty decent. The fact I can like platinum trophy the one before it with no effort And then this one, like, I can barely get a third of the way through it unless I use a walkthrough. Like, ugh, something's wrong. Ooh, limited run game number 8. Zeo Drifter. I think Red Art Games put this out on the Switch recently. This is a tiny little Metroidvania. You play as this cute little guy here, and it's small. You go through 4 levels. I think I platinumed it in like one day, maybe a sitting or two. And I thought it was a really good game. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it. It's probably kind of hard to find now. Just gotten into this series in the last couple years. I'm in love with it. I've got, I think, almost all the games in it that you can readily get. But this is my only PlayStation Greatest Hits game. This is given as a gift to me, and it's still sealed. But it's Yakuza 0. Can't wait to play this one. Yakuza 6, Song of Life. Can't wait to play this one, but there's a lot of games ahead of it, believe me. The Yakuza Remastered Collection that has Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. Gotta play all those. Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of the first game, which I did play and was in love with this game. Love it. So much fun. So great. If you haven't played the Yakuza series, you're missing out, believe me. Yakuza Kiwami 2. This one's next up to play. Like, this is going to be a gold star game. I've gone over those in the other videos, so if you don't know, check those out. But I'm going to pick this one pretty soon. And then Yakuza Like a Dragon. So in Japan, Yakuza is titled Like a Dragon. So all the new games in the series are not going to be Yakuza. They're going to be Like a Dragon. This is Like a Dragon number 7, and it's also Yakuza number 7. And it starts a new storyline with a new character. So this one's way out in the future. This is Yamawari, Lost in the Dark. And this is the 3rd game in the series. The first 2 were PlayStation Vita releases and kind of hard to find. And they did a compilation of those on the Switch, which I have. And it's hard to find as well in a high-priced game, like over $100. But I finished the first one in that series 2 Halloweens ago. And so I need to do the second one and then this 3rd one here. But it's like a little isometric girl survival horror game. And it's creepy, intense, believe me. I paid a lot for this one. Yooka-Laylee. I don't like 3D platformer collectathons very much. And I know this is like supposed to be, you know, the love letter to those. I think people were not real happy with it. Hence the price. $3 on clearance at Walmart. But still sealed, more or less. I'll play it. Much better than those, I think, was this side-scroller, which is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, which is supposed to be a pretty decent game. And Team 17, that also did Worms, put this one out. And I'm excited about this one more than the other one. But I'll try them both when fate picks them for me to play. Oh my God, guys, it's the last game. It's the last game. It's another like 3D first-person shooter roguelite game done by Soy Desco, the same people that did Tower of Guns. I think this is like the fantasy version of Tower of Guns, but I don't know. It's Ziggurat. A to Z, all the way through. And this is still sealed. This has gotten kind of pricey. I don't know why. I don't think it's supposed to be very good, but I'll play it one day. We'll get to it. I promise you. Well, guys, we did it. That was daunting. I've been down here all day. I've got to go upstairs and cook dinner. It's like almost 6 o'clock at night, and I started at like before lunch. This took a long time. If you made it all the way through, I appreciate it so much. This is $15,000 worth of games. I can't believe my PlayStation 4 collection is worth over $15,000. That blows my mind. That's a car. That's a car, man. They're like, wow. Imagine being like 13-year-old and having all those games. I can't even fathom that now, how that happened. But you get older and you have less time and more money. So that's where it goes. Anyway, thank you once again, guys. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. We're going to get a little bit of break to the collection videos for about a month or so. This is the one that was scaring me the most, but the one people wanted to see the most. So we went ahead and did it. Next week, it's either going to be a pickups video or it's going to be like some game reviews. So stick around for those. There's new videos every Saturday, unless it's like this where there's going to be like videos all week. I'll catch you next time.